Hey guys, we're going to do this video today about some tools to use when you have a narcissist in your life. This is going to be a good video because I got some tips and tricks and hopefully, for lack of a better term, some ideas of how to basically deal with someone that is, for all intents and purposes, undealable, unwinnable situations. It's nothing that breaks the mold, but essentially it's, non-reactivity and self-differentiation. It's easier for some than others in a narcissistic. We're just talking about the family abuse cycle. If you're watching this video, there's a good chance you were the scapegoat or the doormat, or you've kind of gone back and forth from one to the other, which could be pretty typical if you had a sibling and there's always this kind of back and forth. But yeah, so I just want to talk about that. And just like how powerful the idea of, non-reactivity. It's unbelievably powerful. But the one caveat I would say is that it really has to be non-reactivity. There'll be situations, chances are you already know, you've already had it happen, and it's, a situation in which it's like the attempt at non-reactivity, but then eventually they get you, right? You take the bait. The key is to take the bait no matter what, and I know it's easier said than done, but it will just mic drop the narcissist, the psychopath, the sociopath in the family or in the relationship. But if you can handle it with your family, you can handle it in any relationship. I guess it kind of depends, but I mean, at the end of the day, that's what makes narcissism, so bad, because ultimately it's someone's insecurity it's like a extreme defense mechanism down to their core, i.e., having a lack of, extreme insecurity, therefore they have the defense or the grandiosity, and it manifests as a massive projection because you can't just be, so they project onto other people, i.e., an empath, like more empathetic, more, somebody that wants to people please because, they grew up with narcissists, and then abandonment issues, so they're projecting their insecurities onto you, and you eat it up because that's how it works. And it's not healthy. And again, I realize I'm making these videos, it's very rare. If you're watching this in the early stages, please continue to do the research, even get a professional right away. It's something I wish I had done a decade ago, but it's never too late. Often people are on these videos because they're trying to figure out what the hell happened. I, for one, looked at a lot of terms kind of like a jovial, not too serious of a terms like narcissist. I'm like, oh, it's a selfish person. I didn't understand because I kind of had blinders. Like I couldn't, and that's the sickness, right? That's why sometimes you got to hit rock bottom. People hit rock bottom. That's such a common phrase. Terms like trauma bond, like thought it was just okay, yeah, collective trauma, and then you bond over it, and what's the big freaking deal? It's like at the extremes, it's like a huge deal. It's just dark, and it's not love, and it's so these are terms and these are situations that in a ideal situation you want to get professional help sooner rather than later. I know for me, I looked at my cope or my blinders were set up in a way that was like, oh yeah, drinking, drugs, like rock and roll, you know, essentially, and this is not atypical, is, especially as a dude and, you know, whatever, is like living that lifestyle, i.e. the sex and drugs, the rock and roll, is the distraction, you know, substances, stimulation, distracting from the feelings, and then, yeah, the rock and roll, the lifestyle, like the actual fame part is the external validation. So there it is. It's like the perfect solution in someone's mind that hasn't, you know, a younger guy, whatever, hopefully not too old, because that's when it gets pretty brutal. And I think people tend to double down, you know, as they age on their, it's too late, I'm gonna, i.e. what I hear is, it's too late, I'm gonna keep hurting people until I'm gone. Which, yeah, screw that. But anyway, getting back to, like, you know, ways of dealing with the narcissist. It really is, you know, sometime, and this is something I wish I did too. I had a violent family. It was like, if you tried the non-reactivity and try to self-differentiate, like, it kind of, like, innately we kind of know, like, oh, this is unhealthy, like, I have boundaries, like, get out of my boundaries, right? And then you can, you know, everyone's kind of tried that, and then, you know, someone will take the bait or whatever, or if the other party, right, the narcissist or the toxic family member wants to get a reaction and you're not reacting, they'll just attack you violently. And that's what happened to me, and it was just like, it just became acceptable. It was just like, it's no big deal, like, so it's not okay. It really isn't. That's, again, it's something I wish I had, you know, understood. Just calling the police as soon as someone puts their hands on you, it's like, that's, you know, that's something that is not okay. And it just, you know, depending on how you grew up, it you know, a lot of things, you know, you just can't see the forest through the trees. Again, grace is a word I like to use during these videos, you know, because anyone who's watching these videos, it's not fun, you know, it's not drawing and jet skiing. It's hard work, it's trauma, it's bad. So I you know, please have grace for yourself and understand that, you know, it's not your fault. You know, you don't get to pick your parents and all that. So take time, self-care, take time, have grace. Having said that, back to the video. Or back to the, not video, back to the, you know, some of the suggestions I have, whatever. But yeah, non-interactivity, self-differentiation is kind of like, is a, I mean, that term blew my mind when I heard that. Jerry Wise, shout out. If you guys know his channel, check him out. Older gentleman. He's probably the biggest pusher of self-differentiation. The person I heard it from, and he tends to bring it up a lot. And that's, I mean, I feel like we had similar childhoods, like just the way he talks about stuff and the depth of that word, of that term, and just the idea behind it. I'm like, oh, wow, that's like, exactly. Because he talks about, he's one of those only people who really talks about the Wi-Fi, the pinging, as far as like your family pinging and stuff, trying to get, you know, supply and get like a beat on you and all that crap. It's unhealthy. Where do I go from here? Let's go, whatever. People are driving like idiots today. Yeah, so I look at self-differentiation as like more of a umbrella term of like all these little things underneath it, like pinging, you know, reactive abuse, like all these little things that if you can be self-differentiated, you can mitigate a lot of these other little things under the umbrella of the term. At least that's the way I like to look at it. And non-reactivity is a way to, you know, like it in that 3 seconds, if you can, you know, your sister goes, you know, you're an like whatever they can say to trigger you. Let's say it's they know you're sensitive about reading, and like that's why you're dumb and you can't read, and it's just like, you, of course it's not because they're right, it's because you know they're trying to hurt you, And that's what hurts, right? And so 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, and then it'll get easier. You get through those 3 seconds, and then the power's back on your side. It took me 35 years to do that, by the way. I always thought that was letting them off the hook, and it's amazing. It's amazing how simple it can be. I didn't think my reaction mattered. I thought if someone does something to me and I don't react, that's me not having a boundary. That's me not defending myself by not reacting because they did it. So now I'm reacting. No, I just couldn't wrap my head around because I don't think like that. And I guess psychopaths, sociopaths, and narcissists, they don't give a shit. They want their supply, they want their validation, they want to see you squirm, and they don't care. So yeah, you get through that 3 seconds, it's amazing. It's like, so, yeah, what else do I have to say about this? This is a little bit of a drive, and I kind of want to fill up this video with content, hopefully of value to you guys, while also testing out this mic for long duration rides. Let me know in the comments how it sounds. If you have time, I'd really appreciate it. And if you have any questions, this is probably a good time to, mention that. I'm going to try and be more active. If you have any questions, and if you want to suggest a topic and we can kind of talk about it, please comment below. So I guess another thing I'd like to talk about, and under the framing of like non-reactivity and self-differentiation, is like, this kind of goes hand in hand. This is, not exactly what I plan on talking about, but I think it's an important thing to understand, because just like any relationship, it's ending bad because it's ending, right? And if you're in a narcissistic one, it'll end not only bad but confusing. And God, it's brutal if you don't have proper support systems. That narcissist isolated you, and your family isn't there for you, and then you realize, fucking idiot. Who the someone's going across the street. No one is paying attention to the roads. It gets nice out, everyone goes crazy in this town. So what the hell was I even talking about? Almost ran into somebody and lost my train of thought there. Let's see. We pick what is familiar often. And if we don't, there's less of a there's less of a passionate thing. It's like, if someone is healthy, honestly, for me, being around a very healthy person sometimes, and hearing someone even speak with a very secure attachment, very, not neurotic, not seemingly unhealthy anyway. It's just almost makes me uncomfortable. I remember my boss once was just describing something, and I'm all ADHD and CPTSD, whatever the hell is anxiety in my head all the time, right? It's a lot of fun. And I just started laughing in his face. I'm just it was just so uncomfortable to hear someone talk that structured and calm. And it's just so having said that, it's hard not to get sucked into the tractor beam of all that love bombing. It's fucking sick, man. I gotta drop F-bombs. We'll see what happens. But it's sick. And they know what they're doing. These people are sick. They've given up on themselves. They've given up on, vulnerability. And they're never going to change. So, yeah, it's just ridiculous. And so, you know, it's and then I guess that's a really good segue. As far as, you know, talking about the family, assuming you lose the family, you have to kind of distance yourself or go no contact with them, as well as the ex, because it, you know, often you can kind of figure it all out, you know, depending on how bad it ends. You know, that's that balance of the universe, though. The worse it ends, I would argue, the more healing there is to do. Therefore, the less of a chance you have of you know, dealing with someone like that ever again. You know, and that pain is so great, just not worth it. You'd rather be alone. Anyway, often try and weave on a topic and then come back to it, but I did actually lose my train of thought. We're talking about reactive abuse. We're talking love bombing. Sorry guys, lost my train of thought there. Let's just keep going down this road. We'll go to park. Reactive abuse. Fuck. Always take someone walking in front of my car. Just lose my train of thought real quick. Narcissist. They're sick. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. And as the relationship ends and you're, you know, leaning on family, dealing with family, and you know, if you had two narcissists like me, it's like, for parents, my heart goes out to you. It's nowhere to turn, right? It's a couple of children, and again, it's very unhealthy to. I mean, that's the whole thing, is to try and find a way to be loved and change them and get your needs met, you know, as time goes on. And I would argue that's another sick part of them. Like, I think they know that. Like, I think these parents, you know, a lot of them have kids, and then it's like, oh, I'm having a kid. It's like, it's a piece of me. It's not an individual. It's like an extension of myself that is there to validate me. And that's the sickest shit ever. That's just like, go burn in hell. Because your kid is, of course, going to always need their parents, especially if they didn't get their needs met when they're young. So it's like, it's ridiculous. And then you got that supply. Like, so I guess my point is just like, they're not going to change. It's really hard. You know, some people go their entire life because they'd rather get their breadcrumbs and live in this fantasy where they get to have the parent they always needed if they just did enough. They just had enough money, they just had enough whatever it was that parent held over their head and made it seem like they valued. And some people just want to live in that world. And it's one of those things. It's like, it's a defense. It's a block, because it really, you know, I personally, life is a lot harder now. I'm healthier, but man, it's kind of nice to be ignorant to the truth, you know. It's brutal. It's brutal out there. But the beauty is that not everyone's like that. And there's good people out there. And yeah, I've been rescued many times the last few years from perfect strangers. And that's a beautiful thing. In your own family, friends, relationship, just nothing like that. And it's crazy. Whoa, what are you doing here? So yeah, again, in every video I just want to have like an asterisk, be like, please don't try to change them. Again, this is a thing where That's why I can't be a therapist. I would just see the problem and identify it, and that's not how human beings work, you know. So I don't want to, you know, everyone, again, grace, everyone's on their own path. These videos are meant to just help, hopefully, you know, telling my story and being just kind of open and kind of spitballing like I always do, like, and just be genuine. Like, hopefully there's some value, but yeah, I'm not here to tell you what to do. But yeah, and again, even if I knew your parents, knew the whole situation, the whole dynamic, I still couldn't do that, because that's why talk therapy is a thing. Like, you can't just, unfortunately, there's not just an answer, and that's what they call doing the work comes in, and you'll be better off for it in the end, but it is brutal, and it is, again, it's a choice. It's a choice. And I don't fault anyone for not doing the work. I only fault people that decide to have kids and don't do the work. That's bullshit. Yeah, people think they have the right to do that too. It's like, oh, that's the trauma, that's the thing, this is our family. Nah, screw that. But that's an infinitely complicated topic, but yeah, most people should rot, in my opinion. Yeah, so I guess I don't really have too much to say left in this video. Yeah, just reactive abuse, man. I mean, it is I think it's the cornerstone of manipulation, and I think it's like the most manipulative thing. Like, it's like the number one weapon, of course, like, right, of like a manipulative person, of a narcissist, is like to get you to react, so your reaction is worse than their behavior. It's so toxic, it's so bad, and if you can just not react, well, then they punish you for it. Man, I wish I had the strength to get out when I could, because I was not reacting, knowing that it was my only tool left, and it was somehow in my subconscious, or my back of my mind, I knew not reacting was hurting them, hurting the narcissist, almost like the virus within them. And then their projections came out more and more, because again, with the narcissist, it's perceived. Any perceived lifting of the mask, it doesn't have to be necessarily saying anything, but by not saying something, that often could be the loudest. It could be the loudest reaction, the loudest decision to make. That's a good title of this video. Non-reacting is the loudest reaction. The loudest reaction is often a non-reaction, and it's true. And so, yeah, that, and the narcissist, you can't have it both ways. Like, once you start doing that, like, you gotta let go of the relationship. The longer you stay in there, the more they're gonna try and destroy your life. It's so ridiculous. Like, it is evil, right? Like, but if it wakes you up, that's the balance I like to talk about. Like, I think the universe is perfectly balanced. It takes two to tango. You did get something out of the relationship, right? Narcissist is often very charming, crazy sex, lots of validation, lots of friends, lots of all this external garbage, and then it's a lot of fun, right? But then that's used against you, like, you become dependent, and then it's like, now it's another thing to use against you, and it's like, but again, it's like, the balance is, your healing is the reward. So the harder, just know that the harder it hurts, the more balanced you're going to become. It really is true, so give yourself grace. I just got here. Hopefully this video wasn't too, all over the place, but that's the topic I want to talk about today. It's just the power of non-reactivity, compound with, like, basically getting out of the relationship. But anyway, all right, that's it. I'm going to head in here and do some boxing, and you guys have a great day. If you still stayed with me, I really appreciate you. And, like, subscribe, comment. Love you guys. Bye.